It is Tuesday, September 30th, and President Trump unveiling what's being dubbed a life-changing declaration this morning for American citizens, making his way back to the White House following he and SecDef Pete Hegseth's speech at Quantico this morning, addressing over 800 of our top military brass from around the world. That speech was recorded and broadcast, but the big news, the major news, coming shortly thereafter from the Oval Office. Wait till you see this. Trump cutting Dems' shutdown plans. There are plans to shut down the federal government, cutting them off at the knees. How is he so good at this?
Today, we begin to right that ship. For the mother trying to help her child get better, for a grandmother at the pharmacy counter, and for millions of Americans who want to restore their health. Today is about another promise made by President Trump and another promise kept by President Trump to the American people. And it's only just the beginning. This is all thanks to your unwavering leadership, Mr. President. Thank you. Thank you very much.
President Trump delivering, announcing that drug prices will finally be priced fairly in this country, declaring moments ago that Pfizer has agreed, they've caved and agreed to offer prescription medications in the U.S. at major discounts as a result of his most favored nation drug pricing order from earlier this year. The most favored nations program, that effort to link U.S. drug prices to the lowest cost of drugs paid by the wealthiest countries around the world. We covered this extensively months ago when Trump first signed this order, that executive order. The administration, they've been negotiating with Big Pharma for months on this to voluntarily do this. Do this yourself. Otherwise, we will force you to do it. Stop charging Americans 3 to 10 times what you charge every other consumer around the planet. Trump's order had a deadline, folks, a deadline of yesterday. Pfizer being the first to capitulate, also agreeing to invest $70 billion in manufacturing medications in the US of A. When Trump signed this order a few months ago, Dems claimed that this would never work, that presidents have tried this for decades. Obama tried it, Biden tried it, and they failed. Well, Pfizer just agreed. And President Trump declaring moments ago that for years, Americans have paid the highest prices anywhere in the world for prescription drugs. A major reason, he says, is that American consumers have been subsidizing the R&D, the research and development costs, for everyone on this planet. This was a silent agreement inked between the Big Pharma lobby and Congress years ago. Medicaid, Medicare, and other government subsidies as well would pay the higher costs, allowing massive R&D by these American pharma companies, which means our government effectively sold out to Big Pharma. And Trump says finally that changes today. Watch.
Today I'm thrilled to announce that one of the world's largest pharmaceutical manufacturers and one of the best anywhere in the world, Pfizer, has agreed to offer countless prescription medications at major discounts in the United States as a result of the most favored nation drug pricing order that we established earlier this year. As you know, the United States is paying sometimes 10 times more than other countries for drugs, and a lot of excuses were made for that, but it went on for many years, decades, and it's not going on any longer. We're going to be paying the lowest price. Now we're going to be paying whatever the lowest price is. Favored nations. This will save American taxpayers and consumers hundreds of millions of dollars.
Meanwhile, Democrats are in the process of forcing a government shutdown. In 12 hours, the federal government runs out of money. If Congress fails to pass this CR, this continuing resolution, the government shuts down. Why would they do this, you ask? Because they have nothing left to lose. That's what they're saying. They're saying this in Congress, that they have nothing to lose. They might as well do this. Their approval rating is so bad. Think of this as a Hail Mary, agreeing to this new talking point that links this shutdown to Trump raising healthcare premiums, and they say throwing 15 million people, not Americans, people off their healthcare. Is that true? Pay close attention to the wording here. They're saying people, not Americans. Watch.
What this government shutdown is all about is whether Republicans are going to be able to get away with raising health insurance premiums by 75%. Yes, 75% on average for 20 million Americans, and in addition to that, throwing 15 million people off the health care they have by making devastating cuts to Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. And you know what that means? That means, not according to Bernie Sanders, but according to people who have studied the issue, academics, tens of thousands of Americans are going to die unnecessarily. Well, you know what? I am not going to support that. And that is why the Republicans have got to sit down, they've got to negotiate, and they've got to protect the health care needs of the American people.
What remarkably poor timing, right? Choosing to do this the same day Big Pharma caves on cutting prescription drug prices by 70%. What Bernie Sanders just said is a talking point. It's not true. What they're referring to, what he's referring to, what all the Dems, they're all putting out these same statements, the same exact wording. What they're talking about is Trump's big, beautiful bill, which already passed. It's already done. It's signed into law. The 15 million people that Bernie mentions are the illegals who lost Medicare after Trump passed the big, beautiful bill last month. The funding bill that Speaker of the House Mike Johnson put forward is a clean bill, a 25-page CR. We read it. We hate omnibus bills. We always point them out. This is not that. There are no partisan funding asks. There's no cutting health care. It's clean. It just continues funding the government the same way it's been funded for another few months while they continue negotiating for a real spending bill. Democrats are saying this because they're saying if you want our votes to keep the government open, repeal that portion of the big, beautiful bill. Give the 15 million illegals back their Medicare. Let me know what you think about this. Should Americans be paying the health care bills of 15 million illegal aliens? Because that's what's happening here. Hakeem Jeffries was just asked about this morning, and listen to how he answered it. Watch.
Just ask you, I'm going back and just looking at this. I think the questions about illegal immigrants getting these benefits go back to a term that's in your proposal that you've put forth that says legally present immigrants are eligible for all of these subsidies. And there's a big question about what lawfully present means. Does that refer to people who are here under the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals programs? I guess there's different descriptions of what people see. What does that mean to you, a lawful preference? Would it refer to DACA?
We had a meeting with the President of the United States yesterday and made clear, we're not trying to change current law. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people. In rural America, in suburban America, in urban America, in small town America, in the heartland of America, in black and brown communities all across America. That's what we're doing. That's what this fight is about.
These people are such slippery politicians. They never answer the question they're asked. And look, unlike previous shutdown fights that are normally all talk and no bite, everyone caving at the last minute, this time there's a good chance this will happen. JP Morgan predicting a 70% chance the government shuts down for at minimum 15 days, citing political dynamics that suggest both parties believe it's beneficial for themselves to do this. Democrats, they say, have nothing to lose. Their approval rating can't get any lower. The White House, likewise, looking forward to the new executive authority a shutdown would give the president, emergency authority to conduct mass layoffs, slash regulations, even close whole departments, which otherwise would require an act of Congress. Trump sees this as a win-win.
They are shutting it down. We're not shutting it down. We don't want it to shut down because we have the greatest period of time ever. I told you, we have $17 trillion being invested, so the last person that wants it shut down is us. Now, with that being said, we can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them and irreversible by them, like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things that they like, cutting programs that they like. And you all know Russell Vought. He's become very popular recently because he can trim the budget to a level that you couldn't do any other way. So they're taking a risk by having a shutdown because of the shutdown, we can do things medically and other ways, including benefits. We can cut large numbers of people out. We don't want to do that, but we don't want fraud, waste, and abuse. And, we're cutting that. But they want to have illegal aliens come into our country and get massive health care at the cost to everybody else, and we don't have it. And that's I would say the number one reason that they want to strike is to get illegal immigrants health care. And, you know, Gavin Newsom wants that, too, in California, and it's destroying California. We can't have that. We're not going to let it happen.
If you don't want to vote for this CR, shut it down. Give me this extra authority. Democrats seeing it as a Hail Mary, a last resort to score something, any political victory, even a small one. If all Democrats hold out, Republicans would eventually need to capitulate on something. Give Democrats something to vote yes on, even though every single one of them is on record claiming how awful a shutdown would be when it was the other way around. Watch.
To hold these people hostage instead of just letting them do their jobs, which they want to do while we work out our differences. So wrong.
This is democracy. And in a democracy, hostage tactics are the last resort for those who can't win their fights through elections, can't win their fights in Congress, can't win their fights for the presidency, and can't win their fights in the courts.
A government shutdown of any duration would harm hardworking Americans and our economy.
Why should we ask TSA officers to go without their hard-earned pay while they protect our airports?
I'm a senator from Virginia. Some of the hardest effects of shutdown will be seen in my state.
If the government shuts down, it will be average Americans who suffer most.
Some who right now are trying to figure out how they're going to pay rent, how they're going to make mortgage payments, how they're going to keep college payments going, how they're going to keep the lights on, how they're going to keep food on the table.
Had the government shut down, hundreds of thousands of people would have not gotten their paychecks. Federal employees would have been furloughed, sent home.
Our military won't get paid. Head Start teachers won't get paid. Our wildfire fighters won't get paid. Federal prison guards won't get paid.
A government shutdown means seniors who rely on Social Security could be thrown into chaos. Our veterans could see regional VA offices shut down and support services put on hold.
Shutdowns are not good for the economy.
Shutdowns cost taxpayers billions of dollars per week.
Shutdowns cost the economy billions of dollars.
They cost businesses money. They could even cost a downgrade to the nation's credit rating.
Families who benefit from WIC and other nutrition programs could see benefits halted.
If this shutdown continues indefinitely, 39 million Americans will risk not having enough food. They will lose their SNAP benefits in February. So that means American children will be going to bed hungry. It's unacceptable.
The longer that this shutdown goes on, the more Americans it will be affected.
Critical services and our economy are being threatened with poison pill partisanship. Shutting down the government should not be a negotiating tactic.
Hostage taking is all they have left. A last gasp of those who cannot cope.
In another story, YouTube surrendering, agreeing to pay President Trump $24.5 million for banning his account 4 years ago. $24.5 million to settle this lawsuit. This adds to the long list of legal victories that Trump's had in attempting to correct the media's censorious behavior. Along with the $24.5 million payout, YouTube, which is more important, apologizing, admitting it was wrong to ban the sitting president and major presidential candidate from their platform, along with other conservative channels. Trump posting on Truth Social that this is a massive victory, and it proves that big tech censorship comes with consequences. A $24.5 million consequence. In reality, that's a drop in the bucket for YouTube, but still, there are consequences. Every shadow banned patriot, Trump says, deserves justice, asking that YouTube pay all the conservative creators who they wrongfully banned from their site. Will we see that? Doubtful, but it's a start. What we really need is both political parties, not just Republicans, but Democrats as well, like they used to be for, to demand no more social media censorship. No censorship whatsoever. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. All right, that wraps up this episode. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.